Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Shark Gaming. My name is Shark, and today we'll be talking about Diablo 3 Season 3, The Demon Hunter. So in these videos, what I'm looking to do, as previously mentioned, if you've watched any of the other videos for Season 2, which was very brief for me, I admit. However, this is the start of Season 3. I plan to keep track of my Demon Hunter's progression throughout the season and see what kind of cool synergies we get at the end. Now, this is the first video of the season, and I'm looking to keep each video around 10 to 15 minutes, maybe 20 minutes. We'll see how it goes. But mostly what I'm wanting to do is just give you brief updates on how the character is doing, what I've achieved since the last video. Probably only going to put out one video per week, and maybe do like one greater rift during the videos to see how the progression is going. Now, right now I'm actually playing with a group of friends. We're talking about possibly streaming on the weekends, most likely like Saturday. One of the feedbacks I've gotten from everybody, well, not everybody, but from a few people, is that Diablo 3 doesn't really have a strong play-by-play for YouTube. However, playing the playstyle of Diablo 3 goes really well with streaming. So I'm looking into that. Maybe we'll be able to start that. But for now, let's go ahead and take a look at what I'm doing right now. So I am playing with 3 other people. We have a warrior. We have a barbarian who's going a whirlwind build. He's supposed to be our tank. We'll see how that goes. We have a monk. Not sure what the monk is doing at the moment. We just barely started, so we don't really have a lot of gear yet. Then we have a mage. And then, of course, I went Demon Hunter to finish off that, round it out, give us some good range DPS. So let's take a look at the build so far that I'm using right now. What I'm doing is currently I have no hatred builder. So I'm using the Sentry with the Spitfire rune, so that I have it fires the homing rockets for 120% weapon damage. And I'm using Rapid Fire, which has an initial hatred cost, but it channels. So if you're not familiar with the ability, this is what it looks like. I can just hold down my right click button and just spam this for a very significant amount of time. Now, the build is designed around this ability right here, and being able to sustain this rate of fire, because it does cost hatred to do so. I'm also using the fire support rune, which fires 2 homing rockets for 145 weapon damage. They're homing rockets, so they just go hit whatever they want to, and I believe it fires 2 rockets every tick of damage. For my for my other abilities, I have Vault with the acrobatic rune, so that I can vault a whole bunch of times. It allows me to just sit here. If I spam it, I can get a lot of mobility out of it, be capable of doing this several times before I run out of any discipline, so I can continue doing that. And then I'm using Smokescreen. The whole idea behind this build is being able to stand still for as long as possible, so that I can maintain my rapid fire. So Smokescreen will allow me to stand in the on-ground damage effects. It can allow me to block arcane turrets, so I don't have to move as much. And then I'm using the lingering fog for Smokescreen, which doubles the amount of time that it lasts, I believe. Let's take a look. Smokescreen lasts for 1 second. This makes it 1.5 seconds. So at the moment, I'm not sure if this is the best rune to use for the build. Regenerating life might be good. Reducing the cost, I've thought about this one actually quite a bit. Reducing the cost by 10, which will bring it down to 4. This one, however, I do not want to use. I don't want that extra 6 seconds. Right now it only has a 1.5 second cooldown, so I don't want to jump that up to 6. So considering these three, but for now, the 1.5 duration is pretty significant. It allows me to nullify quite a large amount of damage. Next, I'm using the companion. I'm not 100% sure if I need to use the companion on my bar for the Marauder set, which we'll take a look at here in a minute. However, the reason why I'm using this is specifically for the active ability, which allows me to get 50 hatred simply by activating my companion. And then, of course, I'm using the Bat Rune, which is what is allowing me to do that. It also increases my hatred by 1 per second, which isn't very significant. However, it does help a little bit over the course of a rift. And then finally, I'm using Vengeance with the Seethe rune, which, aside from all the other things that it does, it gives me 10 hatred per second. So these two combined really allow me to just sustain this hatred, or the rapid fire support, for a very significant amount of time. Then for my passives, I'm using Brooding. I'm debating on whether or not the Brooding, which if you're standing still and you don't move, you get 3% life regeneration per second, stacks up 3 times for 9% total, versus, let's say, Perfectionist, which reduces the discipline cost of your skills, as well as give you an increased armor and resistance. I'm not really sure which one is better. So for right now, I'm going with Brooding because it incentivizes, yeah, you know what I'm talking about. It and makes me want to stand still even more than I already want to stand still. Yeah. So next, I'm using Awareness, which again allows me to just stand in damage and not die. If I take fatal damage, I will vanish for 2 seconds, so smoke screen, for 2 seconds, and regenerate 50% of my life back. So this is really helpful for allowing me to stand still and not have to worry too much about dying. And then I have Ballistics, which gives me 100% increased damage to all my rockets. So I have 3 abilities that fire rockets, and now I'm not sure if this 100% is calculated before the damage or after the damage is applied. So, for example, let's take Sentry. It's 120% weapon damage for the rockets. Now, if this is before damage, that would bring this up to 220% weapon damage. If it is after, it'll bring it up to 240%. Now, it doesn't seem like it's a huge difference, but when you then add in crits after that, it could be that's a pretty significant difference in the long run as far as those damage. And then the custom engineering, so that I can place 3 sentry wards. So I have 3 different wards, or 3 different sentries out at once instead of just 2. Now, one of the main things that makes this build work as well as it does so far, at least for in my group, now I don't believe this is going to be really strong solo, mostly because there's no control in this build. I rely on my teammates to have all the control, which allows me to stand still for as long as possible and dish out as much damage as possible without moving. So right now, what makes this build work is the new Obsidian Ring of the Zodiac, which has the passive reduce the remaining cooldown of one of your skills by 1 second when you hit with a resource spending attack, which is rapid fire. Now, I've seen Sentry activate the Obsidian Ring, but it only activates on the first hit of damage. After that, it stops working. Now, it would be awesome if the Sentry Gun continued to take down my cooldowns with each hit. However, that would just be broken. I would never have cooldowns. And with rapid fire as it is, my cooldowns are quite literally cut in half, if not more, if I'm able to sustain my fire. And then the only really other significant items that I have currently, well, I am using Mage Fish. It's helping out with my sentry gun, but I believe these are both physical, so it's really only helping the sentry guns. So this isn't necessarily the best gloves to use at the moment. I am working on the Marauder set. I currently have the 2-piece set. As you can see, companion calls all companions at your side. So this is what I was talking about. I'm not sure if I need companion on the bar to get all the companions or not. I haven't tested that. However, I also believe that even though it doesn't say it this way, I believe it actually gives you the runes for the companion. So all 5 runes, it's not just summoning all of them. The reason why I say that is because whenever I activate this for 50 hatred, I also get the 10%, I believe it's a 10% damage bonus from my crow, which is right there. So I believe the Marauder set is actually giving you all 5 runes for the companion. Then next, when I get the 4-piece set, I'll have the sentries cast your hatred spinders. So that will mean that my sentries are now casting rapid fire. So I'll have 3 rapid fire sentry guns. Each are going to be firing 4 rockets each. Let's say if it's firing once per second, that's 4 rockets per second. It actually fires a lot faster than that. However, that's just to give you an idea. Plus, when I'm using Seething Vengeance, I will also be firing 4 rockets at a time, even though 2 of them, well, actually this is 4, so I'll be firing 6 rockets at a time, even though 4 of them are going to be only doing 40% weapon damage. And now, I don't know if this is going to be viable later into the game, because it looks like what this patch is mostly leaning toward is multi-shot, multi-arrow, which there is a new bracer out that whenever you hit someone with multi-shot and they're below a certain health range, I believe the range is 40 to 60%, whatever you roll, and they're below that threshold, multi-shot will hit them twice. And then, of course, Marauder's set is if you have, for every sentry you have down, your multi-shot will do 100% more, which if you have it set up like mine, 3 sentries will make multi-shot hit 300% more harder. Plus all your sentries will hit, all your sentries are going to fire multi-shot as well. So that's how it is right now. So let's give you a quick look at how the build works here. And like I said, this isn't really set up for single target, or I'm sorry, solo play at the moment. I'm not sure how it's going to do yet, because like I said, there's just absolutely no control. There's no AoE. So even though right now this is tier 1, so it's not really that difficult, and I have some decent gear allowing me to do some significant damage. However, by the time I get to T6, that might be a completely different story. So here we go. Use some Seething Rage, and you can see just how much I'm actually firing and how much damage those things can actually end up doing. And so that's basically how I'll play this character so far. So we'll see how it goes throughout the rest of the game. Hopefully, I would really like this build to continue going deep into the game, and we'll see just how much damage I'll be able to put out with this build. Single target damage, phenomenal. And as I get my legendary jewels and everything, I really have high hopes for this build. But I don't believe it's going to make it too deep as a solo. So luckily I'm playing with the group of people and I won't have to worry about that too much. But for anyone who may copy this build, keep in mind this is for group play. And other than that, that's basically all I have for you today. And if you enjoyed this video and you want to see more, come back every week. I'll have one put up for you. And if you like what you see and enjoy the videos, so help support me by giving a thumbs up on the video, leaving a comment, and subscribing. Other than that, ladies and gentlemen, you have a good rest of your day.